Embodied Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Barnett, and today we are diving into part 2 of my NLP series, all about neuro-linguistic programming. So we are going to pick back up where we left off from last time, which is to talk about principles for success using neuro-linguistic programming. And we are going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the two parts of our mind, our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. They have two different sets of goals, but they're both equally important. However, speaking of goals, when we sit down to set goals for the year or the month or whenever we're doing that, even for the week or the day, oftentimes we're using our conscious mind to come up with those goals, which is fine, but it's only 5% of our mind and 95% is our subconscious, as we learned in the first part of this series. So what happens is we can set these goals and our subconscious can say, well, that ain't never going to happen. I'm not going to let that happen. That sounds dangerous. That does not sound safe. And we're going to do all the things we can to make sure that you don't do that thing. So that's where you come up with what people might call self-sabotage. Your subconscious is not really trying to sabotage you. It's not trying to hurt you. What it's trying to do is keep you safe and keep you in what is known. So yes, colloquially, we will say self-sabotage, but that also kind of makes you feel, if you're like me, makes me feel like I'm kind of at war with myself. I'm not really at war with myself. I can look at my subconscious beliefs, I can look at my identities, and I can make a decision on how I want to move forward. Because again, radical responsibility. I get to choose what actions I take moving forward. So our conscious mind will be the goal setter. It's going to set the goals. But our subconscious mind is the goal getter. It's the one that determines whether you're actually going to get your goals, attain your goals. And so that is where we want to pay more attention to. We just don't pay enough attention to that, because if you really want to meet those goals, you gotta check those identities, you gotta check those thoughts and beliefs, which is another reason why I absolutely love EFT tapping, because that's literally what it does. We target those beliefs, we accept them, we love them for who they are. Again, we're not at war with ourselves. And then we can release them, and then we can rewrite them and step into an identity that we actually want. Step into some thoughts and beliefs and habits and patterns that we really want. So tapping is an amazing tool for that, which if you're listening to this, you probably heard all about it. If not, go back to the episode EFT tapping basics, because that will really help fill you in on what it is. Okay, so principles for success. There are 7, and we're going to dive into them now. Number 1 is always know your outcome. So we need to know where we're going. If we don't know where we're going, we don't know what direction to take, we don't know what steps to take. And the word know, K-N-O-W, in NLP means to see, hear, feel, basically using your 5 senses. That's how you will know you've gotten to the goal. You will see it. You will feel it, you will hear it. So think about a goal you might have right now. Like, let's say if you're wanting your content that you create on social media to convert to paying clients, then let's say your outcome is, I want 5 new clients from my content this month. And so how will you know that you've gotten that? That's one of the questions that we do in creating achievable outcomes. This is built into coaching with me. This is also built into the starter kit with me that I offer as well. But you can do this right now. What is one way you will know? What will you see when you have those 5 clients? Will you see Stripe account notifications coming through? Will you see DMs like, send me the link, I'm in? What will you see? Will you see more comments? Will you see people commenting your keyword in your ManyChat automation so that they get the link, so that they can sign up? What will you see? What will you hear? Will you hear people saying, maybe in those DMs, or saying in a voice message, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Thank you so much. Whatever. What are you going to hear? Maybe you'll hear the actual ding of a notification coming in, or a ching or something. What will you hear? And what will you feel? Like, what will you feel when you have that happen, when this goal, this outcome is achieved? Will you feel proud? Will you feel excited? Will you feel confident? What's that feeling going to be? So that's how you will know. That's number one. Always know your outcome. Number two is take real action. How many times does this happen? We're like, okay, so I have my goal. So I probably need to go meditate. I probably need to set up my website. I probably need to go into the back end of my business and make sure this and that. Yes. However, what do you really need to do? What's the real action that's going to convert to paying clients? In my experience and with coaching clients, our content is a key place that is a key action taking place where the results will come in that we want for our outcomes. So if people don't know about you, if you're not posting, if you're not creating content, if you're not creating, free workshops, low ticket workshops, or going into your local chamber of commerce and setting up a presentation there, or the library, how will they know about you? If you don't put it out in your podcast, if you don't start an email list and you don't send people emails, how are they going to know that you're there? That's the real action. So the universe, it responds in relation to the action that you take. So we want to take real action that is going to open up an invitation, invite people to come into your world, and then give them a clear direction on how to do that. So that's number two, take real action. Number three, pay attention to your results. We want to be using all five senses to pay attention to what is actually happening. Our results will tell us if the behaviors we're choosing are paying off in the direction we want, and our behaviors that we choose are a direct reflection of the beliefs that we have, the filters that we have in our mind, the beliefs, identities, the decisions that we make, all of those filters we talked about in part one. It's going to tell you where that, the level of those thoughts are, where the level of your thinking is, your beliefs, your identity is. So we want to pay attention to your results using all five senses and notice what's happening. When I post content that has some, testimonials in it, let's say, I notice I get fewer likes, but more comments and more DM conversations. So pay attention to that. That's how we're going to know if those results, if those actions we're taking are paying off, right? Okay. That's number three, pay attention to your results. Number four is be willing to change. We need to be flexible. And in my NLP training, it says, be willing to change your behavior. And then she told us to cross out the word your behavior and replace it with anything. Be willing to change anything. Expect it. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. We have to be flexible. We have to change. I don't know if we talked about this in the last one, but there is a law in NLP, which is the law of requisite variety. That law states that the person or system with the most flexibility controls the system. So if you have more flexibility, more choices in the actions that you take, or the beliefs that you have, or the tools that you have to regulate your nervous system, regulate your emotions, your thoughts, if you have more behavioral flexibility there, if you have more tools, you're going to be able to control your behaviors and your outcomes a lot more. So that's where all of these modalities, all these techniques, tapping the single belief change, which I'm going to talk about today, the swish pattern, which I'll talk about today, the mapping across, all of these techniques are going to help me be a better coach to help you get the 126 bits of information that is most empowering to you. Because remember, we talked in part one about how we have 2.3 million options per second of information, 2.3 million bits of information per second coming in, 2.3 million options. that we can choose to look at, but we filter them down into the same 126 bits. So my job as a coach is to help you to get the 126 bits of information that is the most empowering for you to make the best decision that you can. So that is number 4, be willing to change anything, behavioral flexibility. Okay. Number 5 is focus on excellence, physiologically and psychologically. So we talked about this before. If you're slumping down, if you're just like, ho hum, blah, 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 your physiology is really low and kind of depressed, you're going to feel that way. So hold your body. You are the CEO. Step into the CEO. Step into the leader that you want to be. What does she look like? What does she do? How does she hold herself? How does she speak? How does she take care of herself? So focus on excellence there. You don't have to be perfect. We always think about our future self as being like this unattainable, perfect vision of a person, but really she's you with better habits and thoughts. So you don't have to be perfect. You just have to focus on excellence. Because remember, perfection is not achievable. And even if it were, it's not achievable consistently. So we don't strive for that. It's going to keep you stuck. So we don't want to do that. And then number 6 is always live with gratitude and integrity. We want to be in integrity with all the work that we do. If you are a coach or you're a leader, we want a win-win outcome for everybody. So if you are guiding people, your clients or your employees, even anybody on your team, your family, your kids, you want a win-win situation. So we don't utilize these principles in NLP for bad. I'm sure you have heard of people using NLP in a very manipulative way to just get an outcome that is favorable to the person using the tools. And that is not at all what we do in the lineage of NLP that I am learning through Julie Costa. So, which is one of the reasons why I decided I chose her. I loved her ethics and her integrity. And she repeats it over and over again. So you're in good hands here. And if it's not congruent with you and your subconscious mind is highly ethical, highly moral. So you're not going to go against things that are, you're not going to go against things that you know are wrong for you. And if you're worried about using it in the wrong way, then you're one of those people that's not going to do it, right? If you're worried about it, then you're conscious of it and you're not going to do it. If you're not worried about it, then that's a different thing. Okay, number 7 is true fulfillment comes from giving. So 6 and 7 are not traditional NLP, but they were just added in the lineage that we're learning, but I absolutely love it. True fulfillment comes from giving. Like, what can you give as a leader, as a coach, as a parent? How can you give? So like this podcast is a perfect example. It's free podcast, free information that you can listen to, apply to your life, and then make changes. Content on social media, free, right? Email list, free. Every month I send out a free EFT tapping video, free. I'll do free workshops. I'll do low paid workshops too, so that you can get the information that you need without having to invest hundreds and thousands of dollars. So those are the principles for success. I want to make sure that I didn't forget anything here. Okay, I want to go back to number 4, which is the be willing to change anything. And what I have written down here in my notes is the most flexible mindset is the least shaken by change. This basically is like the ability to roll with the punches, right? So I love that. And to close this section out before we move on is a quote by Marcus Aurelius. And it is, if you're stressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but your own estimation of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. So this is the power of our mindset, and that we are in control. We are in charge of our mind and therefore our results. Okay, I'm interrupting this podcast really quick because I'm so excited to tell you about my Mindset Mastery digital library. This is finally like that Netflix for your mind that you've been looking for, and you can actually feel good binging. This is an ever-growing library of quick EFT tapping videos designed to help you to reprogram your subconscious mind so that you get more of what you want. Inside this library, you're going to have instant access on demand to tapping videos like tapping into abundance, releasing self-sabotaging behavior, letting go of resistance, welcoming in success, creating a vision for success, protecting your energy, selling with confidence, tapping to get shit done, how to take radical responsibility, and audios like the learning state, which is a powerful mindset state where you can't experience negative emotions and therefore you get to show up in a more empowered state. Plus, there's one monthly group coaching call every single month for you to come in, ask your questions, and get support from me and the other members inside the group. Best of all, we're going to be adding videos every single month, and coming in June of 2024, even more subconscious tools, including hypnosis tracks and subliminal recordings will be uploaded as well. This library is going to get more and more valuable as I add more and more videos throughout the year. So you want to join now, as it's the lowest price it will ever be. Dream big, because it's all happening for your highest good on your timeline or sooner. And if you are a loyal subscriber to this podcast, head to the show notes because you get a special discount to join the library today. Okay, I want to segue over into a couple modalities, submodalities that we learned, and explain what they are and why I'm so excited to be able to use these now to help my clients to change their thoughts, to change habits, and to change parts of their identity that they wish could be something different. So I want to talk about these three modalities. One is called mapping across. The other one is called single belief change. And the last one is called swish pattern. I really love these. Mapping across was the first one that we learned. So in essence, our brain categorizes everything in our life, everything that experience we've had, every memory, everything, and it uses pictures, sounds, and feelings to kind of categorize them in your brain. So we can take something like, for instance, if you want to stop liking Reese's peanut butter cups, we can take that that you have, find out how it's mapped in your brain by using a series of questions here, and then map it across to another thing that you dislike instead. So you can turn your like for Reese's peanut butter cups into your dislike for black licorice, for instance. And it's really quick. I mean, I have been saying over and over again for years that it takes time to change your thoughts. It takes time to change your beliefs. But as it turns out, we can do this in a matter of minutes. So that's mapping across, taking a like to a dislike. Then single belief change is taking a belief you wish you didn't have, find out how you've mapped that in your mind. Like, what does that look like, feel like, sound like to you? And then we're going to turn that into something that you no longer believe. Like the belief that I love is that you no longer believe is, I am 10 years old, or I'm in first grade. I don't believe that anymore. So I'm going to categorize that in my brain differently, presumably, but differently than the belief that I can't make enough money in my business, right? So we're going to find out how those two are mapped. We're going to map that across that belief, I can't make enough money in my business, into the belief, I am 10 years old. Then we're going to, in essence, make a little bit of a hole there. We're going to take that belief away. But we don't want to leave you with a hole about your belief, about your ability to make money, right? So we need to take that ability to make money. So what's the opposite of that? I make lots of money in my business. I'm able to make money anytime I want to, like whatever you want to turn that into. So we take a belief that you have absolute in your mind, like the sun will come up tomorrow, and find out how you map that. Then we're going to map that across into the belief that you want. We're going to turn that belief that you want to believe. I am amazing at making money. I make money easily and effortlessly in my business. So that's the belief you want. We're going to map that across into the belief, just like it would appear for a belief you already fully believe, like the sun will come up tomorrow. So therefore, after this process, seriously, a matter of 15, 20 minutes, you will now believe that you can make as much money as you want to in your business. It is amazing, like seriously mind blown. And then the last one we'll talk about during this podcast is the swish pattern. So the swish pattern is very, very fascinating. So the swish pattern is useful in creating momentum toward a compelling future. So it installs choices for a new identity. So for instance, if you want to be the kind of person that doesn't hit snooze and just wakes up, gets dressed, and goes to the gym, the swish pattern is going to be a perfect one for you. So we set it up. We have you pick that belief that you have now, that identity, the thing that you're doing, and picture it. And then we swish in the new picture. And it seriously, in a matter of like 5 minutes, crazy, you will more associate, you will be able to experience in your own eyes that new identity, that new behavior that you want. In this instance, the example is getting up and going to the gym. You'll be able to see that more clearly than the old belief. And therefore, you will follow suit. It is incredible. Okay, so those are the 3 modalities I wanted to talk about today in part 2 of the NLP series. And moving forward, we're going to talk about perceptual positions. So this one's pretty cool. There's a technique and a modality to walk you through how to take the emotional charge out of an experience that you have had so that you can see it with fresh eyes, get new learnings from it, and not be as triggered. How fun does that sound? I know you want to learn about that. Okay, so until next time, I want to leave you with this. If you are looking for modalities to help you to change the way that you process your information, to change the way you're filtering your information, to get the 126 bits of information that are the most empowering to you, please reach out to me. DM me on Instagram. I want to hear from you. I have many programs right now that we can do this. I have options for digital products that you can do too. I would love for you to join my Mindset Mastery digital library, where I house tons of EFT tapping videos. And coming soon, I have meridian meditations in there too, which is using the tapping meridians that we do for tapping and having meditations that you can go along with those. Which is a new modality that I got outside of this training, a different training. And I'm so excited about that. And then coming in June, there will be hypnosis tracks coming in there, subliminal tracks, once I finish my certification, because your girl's gonna make sure she is a master of this before she puts that in there. But the women and that are in there right now, and of course, men are invited as well, men need this support too, are just telling me how much they're loving tapping into the library, for lack of a better word. They go in there, they're putting it in the morning time after their Bible time, after their me time, whenever they're getting ready to make content, they're going in and doing tapping. Before they have a sales conversation with somebody, they're doing their tapping. It is just the place to be. And also we have our group coaching that's in there every single month. The last Monday of every month, I'll pop in and give any kind of coaching support, answer questions that you need while we're in there. And any workshops that I offer, any of the smaller workshops that I offer, not programs, but workshops, are going to be free for library members as well. And my next one is Confident Content Workshop, and that is on March 20th, 2024. And if you're listening to this way in the future, don't worry, this will be available for purchase as well. It's $29. It is a great value for you to come in and learn how to create content that is true to you, that is not copying other people, that is not relying on content prompts, is not relying on batching your content if that does not work for you. It is actually using tapping, EFT tapping, to tap into your unique, authentic truth so that you always feel confident, always feel empowered to show up and share your message and your offers with others. So if those sound interesting to you, go to the show notes and there will be links there. I cannot wait to hear what you do next. And I know it's going to be amazing, don't you? Let's do this. Have a great day.